Now, throughout all the young pitching that was on display during the Mets spring breakout game last week, there was one arm that was not featured, that being Mets top pitching prospect Christian Scott. And this week, Scott was given the start versus the Marlins last Thursday. And the 25-year-old right-hander was off and running, going 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 0 walks, 7 strikeouts on 59 pitches. Scott's fastball sat at 95 to 96 and top 97, showcasing 11 sweepers, 7 cutters, and 7 changeups, registering 11 total whiffs and 14 chases. Coming off an incredible breakout season in 2023, Scott is expected to begin 2024 in AAA Syracuse with his anticipated Major League debut on the horizon in the near future. Scott is also ranked as the Mets' 5th overall prospect via MLB Pipeline.
He climbed up the prospect rankings rather quickly this past year. And then when you watch him throughout this whole spring training, like, he's just accelerating as far as his development and becoming a good pitcher at a rapid rate. And, you know, as Rhodes been saying, you know, let him start now, you know, put him on the Major League roster now. Like, he's really just kind of beat out his timeline to the point where it has gotten like, listen, the guy has, even if they kind of increase him through the levels, he's still just performing at a really high clip that it's just been impressive. You know, you have like everything you see about him, you know, that quick, compact delivery with just disgusting stuff. It's been very exciting, you know, especially as a organization that was known for having great young pitching, and we saw them all leave. We're looking for that next piece of homegrown talent. And right now, he's the guy to be really, you know, keeping your eyes on because of how good he's been. So it's definitely something very exciting because, like we've talked about with the current rotation that we have now, a lot of these guys here on short-term deals, having another person that's going to step in and be here for a long time would go a long way in this team being competitive for years to come. So no need to rush him, but just keep kind of do what he's doing, and we'll see him sooner rather than later. And it's going to be a good time. But I've been very impressed, and you know, especially there's not a guy who originally was his top 100 prospect, this, you know, really early draft pick, not a first round pick, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just kind of exceeded expectations since the beginning, and that's been the other really encouraging part of it. He's not a guy that like with Gilbert and these guys that we had to make a big trade for. Like, he's just kind of come in here and consistently improved. So there's definitely been a lot to like. And listen, I'm excited for when he finally makes his debut because it's going to be electric.
I'll always be honest with you guys, you know? I'll never lie. I'll always be objective and respectful. That being said, Christian Scott has a chance to be a better version of Aaron Nola. I truly believe that. Maybe not in terms of volume. You know, it might take time to get there. This guy is incredible. His command is pinpoint. He doesn't walk anyone. He strikes people out. He's got good stuff. He has a good vertical approach angle. He has a great release slot. Really wish that he could be in the majors now, you know, ramp him up like the Braves did with Strider and like Stearns did with all his aces in Milwaukee, you know, have him start in the bullpen, pitch 2 to 3 innings at a time, work them up until they're ready to start, you know, in 5 innings at a time, like Strider in 2022. I wonder if there's a reason he really does need to be in AAA to start the season, because I don't know what he needs to prove anymore, other than he can handle starter's workload, which you can safely implement him into that workload in the majors. You know, I'm not mad or anything. Like, I'm sure Stearns has his reasons. I can see Christian Scott being a part of a postseason rotation this year. Next year, the year after that, if we get in, of course, would like to be a bit more like objective, but like I feel like I just said so many things about him in past streams too, and past podcasts. I'm just so high on this guy. This guy, in my eyes, has to be in the Mets rotation by the end of the year.
When it comes to Christian Scott, I think at this point, you're just waiting for that call. I don't think there's really anything that this guy really needs to prove. Maybe a little bit of sustainability as compared to last year where, you know, he ramped up a little bit. He took this huge jump and, you know, maybe they just want to get his feet wet. Maybe they also just want to stretch him out in AAA and not really risk the fact of him hurting himself at the major league level, and that being kind of like that first impression he gets there. But I think that at any time, at this current moment where we are filming this, 5:25 p.m. on March 24th, at any point they want to call him up, I think he's ready to do it. The AAA level is very fluctuated as to terms to the hitting environment is a little bit unbalanced. there's rumors about the balls being a little bit juiced or whatever. So maybe you do see a few starts from him in AAA. Maybe they try to see if that does fluctuate against his stuff. But at the rate that he's going, as we continue to see the stock go up on Christian Scott, at any point, this dude can be called up, and it's completely justified. Now, most likely, Acevedo will get the first call. After that, it probably would be Joey Lucchesi. But he is there. He is right there to make his major league debut. I personally don't want to see him again. This goes for all of our pitching prospects. I don't want to see any of our pitching prospects up here because they're replacing an injured player or rushed up here. I want to see them up here because they are ready. And at this current moment, Christian Scott's ready. I think we all can agree that he is ready for the major leagues. Maybe just the volume is something that you don't really know what the deal is with him because he doesn't seem fully stretched out. But in terms of Christian Scott as a pitcher, he's major league ready in my opinion. And I think at any point you can call him up.
When we roll out a 6-man rotation, I don't see why Christian Scott wouldn't be in that 6-man rotation. It would be the perfect time, would it not? Like if you're worried about stretching him out. It's the perfect time to ramp him up as well. You're right. And just like Strider pitched about the same amount of innings the year prior in the minors, he ended 2022 with 131 innings in total. And Christian Scott pitched just under 90 last year. Like 120, 130 innings. I feel like that's a reasonable goal for Christian Scott to reach this year. I feel like a lot of that can happen in the majors, and especially if we're going to have a 6-man rotation at times.
A few weeks ago, I probably would have told you out of all of our prospects on the top 30, like typically, I would have said all of them healthy, obviously, exception of Ronnie Mauricio. I would have said Drew Gilbert is the guy that I would consider possibly plugging in to the major league roster, even though I don't like plugging in prospects, but if I had to choose, it'd be Drew Gilbert. I think that's changed to Christian Scott at this point. Yet again, at that moment when I did say that, we all know that Gilbert most likely has the highest floor, obviously, out of all the prospects. And with Christian Scott, I mean, he's adding new pitches. He's adding stuff to his arsenal after a fantastic year that he had last year. And he's getting results with those new pitches already right off the bat in spring training, which is just so impressive to see what this pitcher has done in such little amount of time, just basically just exploded through the minor league system. And at any point, I think that he is ready to go for the major leagues, whether it is for maybe some long relief or something like that to maybe ramp him up. But you're going to see Christian Scott in the majors possibly earlier than you expect, in my opinion. I think that maybe, we talk about September call-ups and everything. I think you'll get him a little bit earlier. And, obviously that has to do with the health of the rotation and everything, but I think that he's ready to go no matter what. I'm really confident in Christian Scott and his career going forward. And I think that he's going to be a great pitcher in this league because he has shown nothing but signs of dominance this last year or two in the minors.